What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me. Right before I get my butt into the gym, I wanted to talk to y'all a bit about this whole election process. But let me just give my shout out to you guys, my subscribers, new and old, for riding along with me on this road to 5,000. Let me get into my thoughts about this because this is really something that I kind of been just marinating on all this morning, and I wanted to, get you guys' perspective on this. And it's leading up to this election, I couldn't help but notice the way black men were treated simply for choosing to vote how we want to vote. Now, I didn't notice this before because, before we were voting based on how we were told to vote. You would have, your mama, your aunties, your grandmas, they always voted one way. And, the black community has largely for the last 60 years kind of been led by the women. So men who came up under these conditions, they just kind of did what they were told. Well, things changed. You have a generation of men stepping up that are of the mind frame of, we are going to be the leaders of our community. We are going to be the leader of our household. We're going to raise our sons to be strong men. We're going to raise our daughters to be, feminine girls, feminine women, and be wives. This is what we want. And in becoming this way, there was a lot of pushback. It was unprecedented. The level of disrespect and disdain that black men like myself, who simply wanted to vote in our own best interest rather than continuing to vote based on, just habit. We really got a lot of pushback. We got a lot of pushback from some of these very masculine, out of order, modern black women. We got a lot of pushback from, overall just liberals altogether. And when these things weren't working, they employed celebrities. And it was a very interesting tactic to watch unfold. The going as far as to getting celebrities, I found that to be a bit weird, if you will. You had Barack Obama, who, he's a former president. He identifies as a black man, but in many cases, he was largely considered to be a celebrity president. The disrespect really came to a head when they had him do his, I'm speaking right to the brothers or whatever. And he sat up there and he basically just berated black men for not getting in line behind a woman. Now, if you're a strong man that's a leader, you're not really thinking about, Kamala's a woman. True enough, but she was seemingly a woman that was just incapable of being in any sort of leadership position. So why would I get behind that? I mean, I'm not about to get behind a woman anyway, but I damn sure aren't about to get behind a woman that just seems inept at doing her job. So you have that. And that wasn't met the way they were intending for it to be. And it seemed like they were going to back up on that, but then they didn't. They continued to press forward with berating black men. They started going out to get celebrities, having them tell you to vote for Kamala, and it was all based on identity politics. It was never about the things that we're really concerned about. None of the issues, high crime rates, inflations, they just never really talked about that stuff. It was just always identity politics. Well, you're not feeling voting for a woman and a black woman, but us in the black community, it's been the women that have been the leaders all this time. Well, the issue that I have with saying that is that being the leader of a household because your man left you is not a flex. Let's just keep it above. Many of these women, the reason why they were the head of the household is because they couldn't keep their man. Whatever thing that was going on with them, they wanted to be strong and independent. They wanted to go their own way. They couldn't keep their man. So that's why you're the leader of the household. There's no man there. Black folks generally have always been conservative. I've said that before. Even though we kind of voted Democrat, we still, lifestyle-wise, we're always very conservative. A lot of the stuff that's happening right now in the black community is very new. Like the black church now supporting all of this rainbow stuff. This was not stuff that you've seen before. I seen none of this stuff growing up. In the black church, you couldn't even be pregnant and be sitting up there in church with a belly. You got no husband. Like you were shamed for this, and now you got women sitting up there, the front of the church, the first pew in that situation. So things have really changed a lot, but you just see they had such a hard time engaging black men with respect. They want your vote, and they want you to, they want you to basically be a leader in the capacity that they tell you can be. You can't just be a leader on your own. They don't want that. Because they really don't want leaders. They want puppets that are doing blackface, essentially. They want to use your blackness, basically. That was how it seemed like. They want the black vote, but they just want you to just shut up and fall in line. So they basically just want a puppet they can control and basically weaponize your melanin for the purpose of identity politics. So never before in history have I seen, when it came to voting, that black men were singled out and targeted the way that we have been before now. And it happening now was very telling, because it wasn't before now until you got black men coming out in large numbers saying, no, we're going to vote for the Republican side this time around. And it's their own fault. You have black men like myself that historically voted blue. And they were so disastrous this time around that they flipped me. And there's many other black men that I've seen and know personally that they flipped. They cost themselves this election, and they may have cost themselves some future ones. We'll see. I mean, that's not going to be for another 4 years, so we'll see what happens. But in terms of black men being the leaders of their own community, I think we have seen the beginning of a shift here. Black men are standing up and saying, we're not going to vote Democrat just because you tell us to. We're not going to fall in line with identity politics, because that was like the only card that they could play. Identity politics. They tried to play that so hard, and no matter how ineffective it was, they kept doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down on it anyway. And, of course, they were trying to be like, oh, Kamala, she's a black woman, you should vote for her. And when that got debunked, then they, oh, well, it shouldn't matter. Why are you guys making a big deal out of that? That sort of silly flip-flop stuff. Her being a supposed black woman was a big deal when they were pushing it. When it got exposed as being a lie, now it's you that's making a big deal out of it. Why do you keep talking about it? If you didn't get exposed, you'd have been talking about that literally up till election day. The reason why that disappeared when it did is because they lied, so they had to pivot. But none of this stuff has worked. But it really did show me, this election cycle, it did show me that when black men think independently, when you have a competent, reasonable black man, and he decides that he's going to do what he wants to do and what's best for his family instead of what somebody somewhere is telling him to do that may not necessarily be in the interest of his family, you got a lot of problems. They went batshit over it. They were panicking when they saw those numbers. When it came to black men weren't there, they lost their shit over it. They've been panicking the whole time. And honestly, it was then that I was pretty confident that this election was going to go exactly how it went, that Trump was going to be the victor, because they pretty much needed all of the help that they could get. She was getting less support across the board from multiple groups, you know, compared to Biden anyway. She was getting less support from multiple groups, but it was something about black men that was really triggering for her. And I think it's because she was just expecting, like always, black men to just vote whatever way and not say anything, and it didn't go that way. So I just wanted to throw those thoughts at y'all, man. I'm gonna get in here and hit this workout up. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.